when we want to describe the specification of a constraint programming solver, it's quite important to also be able to formalize a little bit what is happening in a mathematical way. And this is the objective of this lecture. So I will define a constraint satisfaction problem, or a CSP. A CSP is a triplet of three different objects. One called X is the set of variables, D is the domains, and C are the constraints. Okay, so the set of decision variable, each of it will take have a corresponding domain D of X, and C is a set of constraints. For instance, you have this CSP. C1 is a null different. The variable of the constraint C are the one that are involved in this constraint is x1, x2, x3, x4. Also, these variables the scope of the constraints. Okay, so if you have all different x1, x2, x3, x4, you are asking that these four variables takes different values. The scope of the constraint C1, which is different constraint, is x1, x2, x3, x4. It's a set of variables inside this constraint. And so x5 does not belong to the scope of this constraint C1, for instance. Okay, for the terminology. Then you have sigma. Sigma is a candidate solution. A candidate solution will map every variable to a value inside the domain. So sigma of x is the mapping for the variable x to one value inside the domain of x. So the value of sigma of x should belong to the domain of the variable x. A constraint valuation is the evaluation of the predicate of the constraint. So if you do C of sigma, you replace all the variable by the value it takes in the sigma, in the candidate solution sigma, you've got something that is evaluated to true or false. And so you can really view a constraint as a predicate. A predicate that says this solution is feasible or not according to the definition of the constraint. Okay? What is a solution to the CSP? A solution to the CSP is a mapping sigma that is true for every constraint of your problem. And so this is a logical AND here. It means that you should have a logical AND in all the constraint valuation of your problem. Okay, every constraint here, C inside capital C, the set of constraints of your problem, should be evaluated to true. And this is a solution. We might also decide to denote the set of solutions because there might be more than one feasible solution inside your CSP. And we denote this with this capital S. So S of my CSP is used to represent the set of solutions of my CSP. What is a filtering algorithm for a constraint? A filtering algorithm is a function that will map a domain to a new domain that should be contained inside the initial domain. And so you have no guarantee to have something that is strictly included. It's included or equal, okay? But most of the time, it's able to shrink some values, to remove, to get rid of some values that does not belong to the solution. And so most of the time, it will be included, but it might also be equal, okay? And so for every domain of your problem, if you apply the filtering algorithm of the domain of this constraint, it will shrink the domain. There is one important contract that needs to be satisfied between the implementation of the constraint, which is called the filtering of the constraint C. One important property that needs to be satisfied is that the filtering algorithm should not remove any solution. It should not remove the solution. And so it means that the set of solutions that you have before the filtering and after the filtering should be exactly the same, okay? And so you can get rid of unfeasible values, but you cannot get rid of the values that belong to solutions. And this is why we say that the set of solution after application of the filtering algorithm is the same as the set of solution prior to applying the filtering algorithm of the constraint. Okay? You don't want to remove any solutions. This is the fixed point algorithm in a very high level way. Let's see a pseudocode, some possible implementation of this filtering algorithm, and we will see some kind of optimization of this algorithm to make it a little bit faster. The naive implementation of the fixed point algorithm is this one. You will need a queue of, okay, I will choose red, the queue of all the that still need to be processed. Okay, I call it queue, and initially it contains all the constraints of your problem. The fixed point is detected when the queue is empty. As long as the queue is not empty, you dequeue one possible constraint from this queue. You apply the filtering algorithm of this constraint C that you just have popped from the queue. These are the variables with every domain that has at least changed by one value. So you collect here all the variables in the scope of the constraint with at least one domain that is not the same as prior, okay? Because I denote dp the domain after propagation and d was the domain before propagation. So I collect here all the variables that have changed. If the set of variables that have changed is not empty, you will add to the queue of constraints all the constraints that involve at least this variable that has changed. Okay, and so you will add new constraint inside the queue. And you make the union so that constraint appear twice inside the queue. And you continue like that, and then you replace the domain with the updated domain as this one, and you continue until the propagation queue is empty. In practice, inside the solver, this is really the way it's implemented inside MiniCP. You have a propagation queue, and the stopping criterion is this one. As long as the propagation queue is not empty, you remove the next constraint and you propagate it. Okay? I will explain in much detail this implementation in maybe lecture 2 or lecture 3, but this is really a one-to-one between the algorithm that I just have described with the pseudocode and its implementation in MiniCP in Java. Okay? In the next video, I will explain a little bit the different types of filtering power that you can have for a constraint, because it's always a compromise. You can have a constraint that is able to remove a lot, and a specific implementation is able to remove a little bit less. But the difference is a trade in terms of computation time and time complexity. So it's possible to have for a specific constraint an N-cube algorithm or an N-square algorithm, big N-square algorithm, big O N-square. And so it's not all the same. They might not have the same filtering power, but it's always a matter of trade-off between computational speed and pruning power. And it's not easy to decide in advance which one you should choose inside your model. Okay, I will explain that in the next video.